YouTube, welcome to my channel, Anna Bella, and today I'm going to be reviewing Doctor Who Season or Series 12, Episode 8, The Haunting of Villa Diodati. Diodati, yes, it's a villa in Geneva. Woohoo! Well, near Lake Geneva in Italy. So, the episode starts with Lord Byron, his current lover Claire Claremont, a doctor, Polyontius, and Mary Shelley, her son William, and Percy Bysshe Shelley is somewhere around, but they've appeared to have lost him. And it starts with them in a room, and they are just about to do their ghost fever stories, which is it's a very, very famous, true event. They all were on holiday by Lake Geneva in Villa Diodati. Diodati. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Anyway, and the summer was absolutely awful. It rained the whole time. It was cloudy. It was grey. People didn't know why. They thought it was to do with ash from a volcano, which the Doctor Who episode references. And they all had to stay inside. So they all decided to tell each other ghost stories. Frankenstein, the seeds of Frankenstein got sown in Mary Shelley's mind, and she eventually wrote the story about Dr. Frankenstein. Frankenstein is not the name of the monster. Just putting that out there. So you are aware, Percy Bysshe Shelley wrote Ozymandias and Queen Mab and loads of other poems. Lord George Gordon Byron, or Gordon George Byron, I think it's George Gordon, doesn't really matter. His name's Lord Byron. Google him, please. But watch out, some of his poems are not suitable for the under 12s, and basically, yeah, under 12s. He's famous for a poem called Darkness. There's a whole host of whatever it is, pilgrims around Greece. Yawn, that one does go on a bit. The pilgrimage of whatever his name was. Yeah, that one's a bit boring. But some of them are incredibly, incredibly good. But Percy Bysshe Shelley his poems are just wonderful. Not as naturistic as Keats. Percy Bysshe Shelley goes the political line. Anyway, moving away from their work, we're analysing the episode. The episode was actually really good. 2 points. One, I love the lighting. Love the use of candles and the darkness and everything. But this is why I hated the lighting. It made it really difficult to see. What I did like was the fact that it had deja vu all the way through. It was really mysterious, and how you had a house folding in on itself. Loved that. You loved the use of the Cyberman when he eventually turned up, the fact that you could see half his face. I love the fact that Mary Shelley was the person that stood up to him and was like, are you a composite? So you could see that all the ideas were generated from her. I love the fact that the Doctor laid down 2 rules. 1, we're not to talk about Frankenstein. And 2, we can't push things forward. My other point that I really liked, the fact that they did this within the episode, was that they showed how tiring the dancing was in the 18th century. Literally, people would turn up to an event at like 5 o'clock and stay until like 10 o'clock. And they'd just dance and drink wine. These people were physically very fit. Either they were duelling each other or dancing or fighting in wars. Obviously, Shelley and Lord Byron were writing poems, but that's a whole different kettle of fish. And Mary was writing her works. Mary's parents are also extremely famous writers. Her mother wrote The Vindictive Rights on women. Yeah, so check that out if you can. It was a good episode. I love the fact that it included William. That is Mary and Percy Bysshe Shelley's son. It's interesting that they had Claire Claremont there. She's one of Lord Byron's many lovers, and she also eventually becomes the mother of his daughter Allegra. That was interesting. I love the fact that you had the link with the Doctor about Ada Lovelace. Ada Lovelace is Lord Byron and Lady Byron, also known as the Princess of Parallelograms, daughter, inventor of computing, or computer programming, no less. Yes, The joys of poetry and stanzas can lead to computer programming. Lady Byron herself was known as the Princess of Parallelograms and was known to be a very, very, very gifted mathematician. That's Ada Lovelace's mother. Why on earth she ended up with a poet, we will never know, but hey, creativity plus mathematics gives us computer programming. That's what we can take from that equation. Moving swiftly on, I thought the episode was really well done. I love the inclusion of the Cyberman. I love the fact that it was bringing in information from other episodes. The Ada Lovelace link to Lord Byron. You also had Do Not Give the Cyberman What He Wants link from other episodes. That was really useful, and it enabled this season to feel like the threads were coming together, because we're on episode 8 now. That means we've only got the penultimate one, which is episode 9, and then the finale, which will be episode 10. So the Cybermen we will be seeing them again, which I think is really good. And also I love the fact that you had the Doctor saying, no, I don't want you involved. I'm not losing any more people, because obviously we've Peter Capaldi's Doctor, the 12th Doctor, lost Bill Potts. And that was really quite traumatic. And I love the fact that that was referenced in the episode. Gone, but not forgotten. I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was really, really good. One little quibble was if you didn't know much about Shelley and Byron and Mary, it would have got you down. And also the Doctor called Polyonthos. Oh, boy. Yes. He did suffer. He didn't sleep as a person, and he was generally very tired. Cough, cough, an inspiration for a vampire. And also Lord Byron was also quite vampirous in his look and general demeanour, inspiring of that. Anyway, moving swiftly on to one of Lord Byron's most famous poems is Darkness. And when at the end of the episode Lord Byron had written this poem, it was basically they were saying that the whole episode had inspired Lord Byron to write this poem Darkness, and She is the Universe is a quote that's supposed to reference the Doctor, which I thought was quite cool, because we actually haven't had many men sort of admire the female Doctor, because women do get admirers, and it was quite cool that the 13th Doctor got Lord Byron saying, hey, would you like to? And he's like, no, 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 no. And the fact that she set 2 rules was 1, you can't mention anything about Frankenstein, and 2, no kissing Lord Byron. And the fact that she ended up breaking the first rule and nearly half breaking the second rule, but telling him to go down, which means that she recognised that he was flirting with her, but she was like, no, 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 too busy. I did like that, the fact that he was like, you are from another world, I will follow you, yes, yes, you are very important. I enjoyed that quite very much. So that was really good. Overall, I'm going to give the episode a 5. I found it enjoyable, if a little confusing, but I liked it. It was paradoxical, it's a ghost story, it should be that. I love the fact that you had the girl and the maid, and Graham was like, didn't you see them? He's like, they could be real. Ghosts could be real. I love that. It was a good episode. Quite a frightening episode, actually. I suspect it would be one that would have got a 12 rating. Most definitely. Not for the under 8s. Which is a shame, but hey-ho, Doctor Who is getting quite creepy these days. Overall, I enjoyed the episode. I really did. And I think that if it continues with these kind of episodes, I do think that the 13th Doctor will get a 3rd season. Overall, this season has actually been pretty strong. I know some people have quibbled over some of the episodes, like Orphan 45 and some of the weaker ones, but actually, looking at it as a whole now, it is becoming quite strong. I'm loving the timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly paradoxicalness of the episodes. I enjoyed this one because it allowed Percy Bysshe Shelley, Lord Byron and Mary Shelley to stand up as independent characters and showcase their skills and creativity. One of the best things about season or series 12 has been the fact it's given a lot of historical characters a platform, from Ada Lovelace to AC/DC, Nikola Tesla and others, to actually say, yes, we were important and we did things, and the Doctor has just been there as an observer, saying, look at these brilliant people. And I think that New Who has really struggled to actually incorporate the historical characters in, whereas I think the 13th Doctor has actually done that really well, because in season 12 we've had some really good, strong historical episodes, and in season 11 with Rosa Parks, that was a strong historical episode as well. They've really managed to do that quite well, because that's been lacking, particularly during David Tennant, Christopher Eccleston and the Matt Smith era. They haven't really done the historical character thing well. The 13th Doctor has. Even when the 13th Doctor visited James V of Scotland, or the 6th of England. But we're not going to go into that now, moving swiftly on. I've really enjoyed it, and I thought that was just something worth mentioning, the fact that they have been quite strong with the historical characters. It has made it quite tricky to get into, I think, for some people. If you've never heard of some of these people, it can be hard. But I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was really well done. And yes, it did point to Percy Bysshe Shelley's tragic death, because he drowns. For some strange reason, he's on a boat, the boat sinks, and he drowns because Percy Bysshe Shelley can't swim. It was quite a common thing for people not to be able to swim in the 18th century, because they didn't have regular swimming lessons, so people just drowned. Yeah, one of the most creative minds drowns. Yes, that's a lesson to us all, to all have swimming lessons. But overall, I'm going to give this episode a 5 out of 5. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. I like the creepy gothicness to it, because if you're going to have an episode that features Lord Byron, Percy Bysshe Shelley and Mary Shelley, you have to make it creepy, and you have to allow them to actually say how creative and show how creative these people were, and the fact that today we are still reading their works, and we are still commentating on their works, and their works are still influencing society today. I think that's really quite important that we do this. Fun fact, Percy Bysshe Shelley's poem Ozymandias as a name was used during a BBC radio show of His Dark Materials as a name for Miss Coulter's golden monkey, because obviously in His Dark Materials the monkey doesn't have a name in the books and in the films, but in the radio show they had to give the monkey a name, otherwise they would say the golden monkey has just walked into the room, and it wouldn't work. So they named the golden monkey, the male golden monkey, the male demon of Mrs. Coulter, Ozymandias, which is a great name for him, actually. Anyway, moving on from that, thank you for your support. Please like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell. Also, I'm really excited because next review is the penultimate episode, the one before the last episode of Doctor Who, which will be episode 10. So we've just got episode 9 to go, and then 10, and then we're done this season. I really enjoyed this episode. I actually like the fact that Ryan, Yaz and Graham, they were involved, but they couldn't take the lead, but you could leave them as sort of like leaders of the group to support these historical characters. So I like the fact that the historical characters within Doctor Who have been used as like a classic companion, and the fact that they're able to ask, well, what is this? You know, the really silly questions that companions used to do. And it used to get a bit irritating, the fact that Rose would have like 8 adventures and be still asking these really bizarre questions. So I like the fact that New Who, under Jodie Whittaker, and Chris has managed to navigate that by giving the historical characters the simple questions. Because this is their first and only experience and only adventure with the Doctor, they can do that. And I think that that's quite good, because even though these people are quite creative, the fact that they've made them ask these questions, and yes, Lord Byron was asking them, but he was asking them in a complex fashion. So was Mary Shelley. It was nice to actually see Percy Bysshe Shelley, even though he wasn't a main person throughout the episode. He played a central role at the end, even though he was hiding in the cellar, which is important, and just shows you how important that he is to history, really. Less is more. Love the fact that they did the whole Lord Byron likes to have a wandering eye. Very, very good. Please comment below what you thought about the episode, because I think that this is one of the best episodes of New Who that they've ever done, to be absolutely honest. I enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Thank you so much for the support, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and click the notification bell. Bye!